Welcome back, you're watching Overdrive. Now, leading up to the Auto Expo, Suzuki launched the Inazuma at, well, quite a shocking price, and like most of our viewers, we were quite baffled at this pricing. We just simply had to find out what made the Inazuma so expensive. So, well, Shumi spent a little while with this Uber commuter, and here's what he's come back with.
There have been a lot of new motorcycles that have come out into the global market between the 250 and the 300-350cc segment. One of the newest as far as India is concerned is the Suzuki Inazuma GW250. It is a 250, it's built in China for the world, and the kits come from China to Suzuki's factories here in India where they get assembled, which also means this is Suzuki's first CKD product in India. How good is it and what does it feel like on Indian roads? Let's find out. The Inazuma's design began with the B-King, which is a bonkers motorcycle both in design and performance based on Suzuki's own Hayabusa. And to be honest, while the Inazuma is clearly a well-made and finished extremely high-quality motorcycle, pretty it is not. The bodywork is oversized and it only looks nice from certain angles. There are a lot of smaller parts that clearly point to a carefully crafted motorcycle, but while the quality of the Zuma is excellent, a style icon it will never be. The giant bodywork juxtaposed with the tires that they happen to dwarf ensures this. Another clue to how much effort Suzuki put into creating the Inazuma comes from its powertrain. Suzuki built a completely new engine for the Inazuma, and what you're looking at is a new parallel twin 248cc engine. But some of the decisions they made are very interesting, where most of the segment is full of over-square motorcycles with small strokes and big bores. This is exactly the reverse. Strokes is much longer than the bores, and what that clearly tells you is that Suzuki intended for the motorcycle to make a lot of torque. So this makes 22 Nm of torque at about 6500 RPM. And just to give you a comparison, the Hyosung GT250R also makes 22 Nm but at 8000, and the Ninja, which makes more torque than this, the 300, does that at 10,000 RPM. So it's focused on its role as a superb commuter in the international market, which is why it focuses on torque rather than horsepower, which is why the power output is actually very modest. It's just 24 PS at 8500 RPM. But in feel, the Inazuma isn't as uninteresting as the spec sheet might make it seem. The motorcycle was designed for international markets as the ultimate form of a beginner motorcycle, which in Europe, for instance, is typically a 250. Suzuki intended to bring unprecedented comfort and quality to the class, and that they succeeded is clear from this engine. It's a butter smooth motor that displays no vibration or harshness at all, and there's just a soft muted twin cylinder thrum that tells you the engine is running at almost any part of the rev range. The sense of effortless torque is pretty clear from 6000 RPM onwards, but you can chug along in almost any gear in town and open the throttle and find reasonably quick acceleration. A firecracker it isn't. It takes nearly 11 seconds to 100 km per hour and has a top speed of just over 131. That's adequate for the class at best. But whether riding solo or with pillion around town or highway, the Inazuma feels smooth and refined like nothing else on the market. There's an elegance to its power delivery that makes a big impression without the need for hard acceleration or warp back to top speeds. And it's easy to forget this, but that 6-speed gearbox is another jewel. It's the slickest, most effortless gearbox we've used in the longest time. And hold on, I still haven't touched upon the real star of the Inazuma show just yet. The Inazuma sits on a really long wheelbase. To give you a reference, it's about 60 mm longer than a KTM Duke 390. It's about, I think, 30 mm more than a Ninja 300. So it is a long motorcycle. So you don't really expect it to have very quick handling, and it doesn't. What it does have in bags is stability. No matter what speed you're doing, whether you're upright or leaned over into a corner, there's just no shaking this motorcycle at all. But the real star of the dynamic show is the ride quality. I have yet to experience this kind of ride quality on a motorcycle in India. It seems to absorb absolutely everything, and if you sort of lean off the motorcycle and look at the wheel's going up and down like this, and the body's perfectly stable on that. That kind of suspension setup is incredible, and that makes this probably the most comfortable motorcycle you can buy in India today. The length also allows the Inazuma to offer a lot of space for both the rider and pillion, and if you're often out 2-up or on the highway with luggage, you should seriously look at this motorcycle. Among other things, it does manage 35 kilometers per litre in a highway test, which means a near 450 kilometer tank range. Given how smooth and confident it feels at a steady 80 to 110 kilometers per hour, I'd tip the Inazuma to be at the moment among India's top highway machines. In essence, styling aside, there is a lot to like in the Suzuki. Its calm demeanor, confidence-inspiring dynamics, exquisite ride quality, it's a list of impressive attributes for any motorcycle. But the unique thing about this Suzuki is that it offers a dramatically different proposition in this displacement class from everything else. Where all of its competition is aggressive, sporty, angry and frantic, the Inazuma offers a much quieter, more sober, more grown-up riding option. And that brings us to the real issue that Suzuki will face with the Inazuma in India: sticker shock.
So the problem with the Inazuma story really is the price and not the motorcycle. I really like it. It's reassuring, it's confident, it's quite smooth, there's enough performance, it's fuel efficient as well, and it's a fantastic highway machine to boot. But it costs 35,000 rupees less than a Ninja 300. This thing is 3.61 lakhs on-road Bombay, and that's really expensive. The reason for the price is actually quite easy to understand. The kits come from China, where we don't have an FTA with, so they're expensive to import, and there's a parallel twin in there, which means the base price of the motorcycle can't really be cheap. But the people who should really think about buying an Inazuma, mature riders, not really into aggression anymore, but want a nice, smooth, quick motorcycle that gets the job done. Probably the most comfortable motorcycle you can buy. I think if you're out on the highway a lot and like a fast commuter, this is what you should buy, although I have to admit this is a really expensive way to find that solution.
Well, it's time to wrap up this episode of Overdrive, but before I bid you farewell, I have some really good news for you viewers and readers. Now, Overdrive has been doing some really crazy things and has taken some epic journeys across the world, and our viewers and readers have had a chance to be a part of them. Well, we've set course for our next epic adventure, and well, this time we're crossing all boundaries, literally. Overdrive's Meet the Neighbors expedition drives 4 Nissans across 4,500 kilometers through some of the best terrains the Indian subcontinent has to offer, visiting 4 of our neighboring countries: Bangladesh, Myanmar, Bhutan and Nepal. 6 lucky viewers and readers will get a chance to participate and live the Overdrive life. For more information and to register, log on to overdrive.in, and you'd better hurry, registrations close on 4th of March. I'll leave you with that. Until next time, it's goodbye.